Anyway, hi everybody. She's back. So, happy Easter. I hope I'm getting my bunny in there. I had the cutest bunny, but I don't know if it's in the deal or not. I never know because, like I said, I shoot this with my camera backwards so I get a better picture. Otherwise, it's got a lot of fog in it. Want to wish everybody a happy Easter. Been kind of meditating, thinking, I think I mentioned something about religion or something in a couple of videos ago, and I wasn't going to bring it up that much more, but this is the day before Easter, and I wanted to talk to you about maybe the greatest gift I ever got. Well, the very greatest gift I ever got when I was 12 years old at choir practice, and literally felt, I was sure at the time, and I'm still sure, that it was, even though I couldn't believe it could happen being in a regular church, but I felt Jesus, I felt like it was, just came up and laid his hands on both my shoulders. And I never forgot how loved I felt. I never forgot that feeling. I've never forgot. Maybe it was angels, I don't know, but it was. But at that time, I think I was 12. I didn't think, oh gee, that's Jesus or something like that. I had the most overwhelming thought come to me besides love about I thought, well, one thing, I could never deny Christ. Because I wasn't raised in a church, but from the time I was old enough to get my butt down there by myself, which was pretty darned early when I grew up, by the time you were 10 or 11, I went to church all the time. And every time I heard the story about Peter denying Christ, it used to just tear me up. It would just tear my stomach apart. And then after that happened, I thought, now I know why it upsets me, because from now on, I don't think I could ever deny there's a Christ. At that time, me thinking he was the only bodhisattva, or the only connection ever to God on high, because I had a different look at religion at that time. But he was, and then in later life, I had a life reading done by a psychic that I admire more than anybody I've ever been to, and her name was Ann Perrier. And I was told that in a past life that I was part of Peter's family, and that the reason that I got so dismayed and upset when I heard about Peter denying Christ was not his denial of Christ. It was me listening to him lament about it for years after Christ was gone, when he was back in his home, him being upset because he had denied him. And the connection was supposed to have been, I wasn't in Peter's immediate family, I was his sister's I was his wife's sister's daughter. And she lived in the family home. She didn't have a husband for some reason, and she lived in that home, and I was being raised in his house. And there's also some other meditations about that lifetime that maybe I can bring through sometime. I don't know. I never know which way to put categories, because a lot of people, they want you to do this or that. But it's Easter, and so I'm going to talk a little bit about this. And then I've got one other thing to say really fast, because it is Easter. That, they asked Jesus once why he taught in prodigals. Not in prodigals, in parables. And he said it so some truths could be known that he didn't. I don't remember exactly how he worded it, but it was so you would anyway. It was like there was future truths that would be revealed when people read these verses in the Bibles, like the parables, and what they meant and what they meant to do. Otherwise, don't take the story so serious. Just take what it's saying, what the meaning is. And of course, my favorite, and probably anybody that's in anything metaphysical, was always the parable of the prodigal, because the prodigal son was the one who went away, who told his father he wanted his inheritance. His father gave him the inheritance. He went away. In the Bible it says he, sold it for a mess of pottage, but whatever. Anyway, he was broke and down and upset and everything, and supposedly leaning up against a tree, and it came to him that his father's servants were treated better than him anyway. So anyway, it's like he woke up. He woke up and realized he had a father at home, and he went home. And he realized when he got there, his father greeted him and, killed a fatted calf, had a big, party for him and everything. And the story was this is like he was sleeping all that time, like he was delusional. He didn't realize that whole time that he was connected to God and part of God. And when he went back home, all of a sudden he was, accepted in, blessed and everything. So I don't think it's so much like a lot of the churches teach and stuff, you do this, you do that, you walk this way, you say this thing, you say you believe in this thing, and then all of a sudden you're accepted into this family. No, we're all in that family. And most of us walk around asleep, and we don't realize how much we got going for us from the other side, how much we got pulling for us. And I love the story of the prodigal, because it's like knowing that we're all part of the God family, that we're all part of that family, no matter what we do, no matter what we say, where we go. Every living, breathing thing is part of this God force, and we're all connected. And anyway, I guess it's time for me to shut up, but today just hasn't been my day. Everything I've done has just gone back-asswards, and I mean totally back-asswards. I couldn't begin to tell you how long it took me just to set up for this reading, and whatever. Don't want to go into it. At least an hour and a half more stuff going on than usual, because it just wasn't. It's one of those days when nothing was working, and it was kind of like that yesterday, and I think part of it's because I haven't really felt as good as I usually do. I don't know what's going on, but I almost feel like I got a little bug or something. So what are we going to read on today? What are we going to read on today? And I hope everybody has a beautiful, wonderful, blessed Easter. And if you had your shots, it's wonderful, because you're going to get to spend it with your relatives. Wouldn't that be nice? I'm going to get to, and I'm really looking forward to it. So, and I got all kinds of things wrote down here, but not what, I still don't see what I wanted. No matter what I write down ahead of time, I was going to thank well, I can remember her name, even if I can't find it. Her name's Sarah Jolly. I want to thank you for the donation, Sarah. And I know that that's not the first time you donated. I've seen it before, and I just want to thank you so much for being so generous all the time with me, and let you know how much I appreciate it. And I want to tell anybody else that if they decide to donate or something, when the name comes up Mary, that is my first name. My name is Mary Lynn. So don't think you got the wrong place or the wrong person or something like that when you see Mary come up. When you're paying for readings too, don't get it in there. Don't get it confused. I'm hoping you can hear this. I've got my mic. I think it's touching my skin. It does better when it touches my skin. What's Matt Gates? What's Matt Gates and Joel Greenberg? We know that that's all coming out now, all the crap they were doing together. But Roger Stone's right in the middle of that. So, I think I'm going to read on Matt Gaetz first. And I had somebody write in and ask me to read to see if he was going to end up literally in jail. So that's going to be my first one. Will Matt Gaetz end up in jail before this scandal's totally over? Will the end result be him ending up in jail? And it'd be really hard for him to end up in jail no matter what he's done, because he's got so much money in his family, and we've all seen that, how that works. So let's see if looks like something's on fire behind me. It's a bright burning candle. Glad it's enclosed there. I think I dropped the match in there when I lit it, and it's probably catching on fire or something. But anyway, will Matt Gaetz go to jail? That's the kind of things that's been going on. I couldn't light the candles. I dropped the matches in them. I got the video all set up and then touched the wrong button and had to take it down out of the stand and turn it off, turn it on, start it all up again. It was just one thing after the other, trying to figure out how to get my little bunny in there. I love that little bunny. She'd been sitting up there for about 3 weeks, and I wanted to get her in the shot today, and I was trying to figure out how to get her in there, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get anything adjusted. So just one silly thing after the other. But oh, and then I cut my hair yesterday, and I must have been upset because I almost, this is what I call a 2-week haircut. It'll look great in 2 weeks, but it's a little short, and so this is my 2-week haircut. And then when I went in to redo my hair right before I did the video, because I did it earlier today, I grabbed the stuff that you put on your hair to make it stand up. Whatever. Here, my first job was a beautician. I can't think of what it's called, but the setting gel is another name for it, but that's not what it's called. I like to comb it in and then comb through it later. Well, I was already through, and I picked it up and started spraying it on my hair, and I have done that before and literally had to get back in the shower and wash my hair, and I caught it just in time. And I thought, what's going on? I'm not supposed to do this video today, and I know it's time to do one. I've been wanting to do one, and it was like everything I did, just I was going to stick a fountain behind me instead of move the one I got by the massage table. I had one in the other room, and I thought, well, get it out of the cupboard and bring it in and plug it in. And I did it. It wouldn't work. I don't know. It wasn't working right. It was working, but it was making a lot of noise. So it's in the kitchen now. I'm going to take it apart and look at it and see why it was making so much noise. But there's no reason to. I don't use it. I should just put it back in the cupboard. But anyway, that's what's going on. And I'm going to quit yapping at you. And so Matt Gaetz, are you going to jail? 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 Matt Gaetz. Are you going to jail? Da 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 da. We don't know what he's doing, do we? I don't know if I got makeup in my eyes or there's just some kind of light in my eyes or something, but everything looks blurry. Probably makeup. I got some new makeup. Okay, let's see what's going on with Matt Gaetz. Well, let's turn it around. Well, right now he's so nervous he's frozen. He knows he's got the money behind him. And if money can get you out of anything, he knows he's got enough of that. So that's his only thing he keeps thinking about, but he can't even think straight. He feels like he's frozen. He feels like a person that's kind of in shock and doesn't know which way to go. either the further they follow this, the more money they're going to find, that there was money involved, not only for the tax collector, but for Matt Gaetz too. Or either this is just him being really glad. The influence over the signifier is, I'm so glad I got money. I'm so glad at least I've got money to fight all this with what's coming, because he's got to know what's coming, even though he's skated all his little bratty life. Okay, this is the foundation. Yes, there was money. There was money being manipulated, changed around, money taken from the poor, given to the rich, money that's something to do with money was behind this. There was money changing hands for whatever it was with these IDs. That wasn't just getting laid by these young girls and something going on there. There was more. He was in on more of it than just the young girls. He's scared he's going away. This is the influence over this reading. He's afraid he is going upstream. But did they used to call that upstream when you went to prison, or downstream? I thought it was upstream. So, got the Queen of Pentacles here. This is a yes, but it's also because the question I asked, was he going to jail? But this is also like money coming in from both sides of the family, or what? Like there's a lot of money behind him, which we already knew that, but that's the Queen of Pentacles in the sky. It all hasn't come out yet. There's more coming out. Look at this. In the near future, there's more coming out. They're not through yet. That could have been why Barr didn't even want to get close to him. He didn't even want to get in a picture with him for the last 3 months. If he found out he was going to be somewhere, he wouldn't go. So whatever he's done that was so bad that Bill Barr didn't even want to get close to him, although he wasn't bringing it to the surface, he was just ignoring the investigation. But whatever he was doing must have been really bad, and Bill Barr didn't even want to be photographed with him. And there's more stuff coming out. Look at this. We got the Ten of Swords. Got the Six of Swords, and yes, he's in trouble, and the Ten of Swords. So he's going. He's going somewhere, whether he wants to or not. He knows he's in big trouble with the law. This is him. He's finally realizing that he could really be in trouble, and that the Republicans aren't in control anymore. And judgment's all around him. Judgment's all around him. Good Lord. First he thought he could cut himself away from this. Thought if he said the right things, did the right things, like that little Tucker Carlson deal, that he could just put it off to, like, we all do this, or I don't know what was in his head. Who knows? Who knows if he's got anything in his head? But he thought he could cut himself away from this. He was hoping he could. That was his hope. He was afraid he couldn't cut himself away from it. And the outcome of this is he's still going to try to juggle it like hell. He's just going to try to juggle it. So that's what's going on outside of that. Is like just juggling things. I'm going to draw a couple more cards just for... Well, something's going to happen that's going to make him think he's going to come out a winner. That he's going to get out of this. And just about the time he thinks he's going to skate out of this, that they've came up with something, it's going to come through that he's involved in so many other bad contracts, bad deals, bad ideals, bad plans, something that was going on, maybe that driver's license stuff, then he's not going to get away with it. No, his career's over. His career's over. I could just keep drawing cards here all day. It's not going to go any further. He's got the death card. So he starts out as the frozen knight, but he's glad he's got money in hand, counting on family money to get him out of here, knowing that he was manipulating money. I don't know if it's him and this Jim Greenberg or what, but knowing that there was money being manipulated that he's afraid they're going to find. He's definitely going away. I think it's to jail. This is the yes card saying yes, he is. This is the Ten of Swords saying his life as he knows it in the public eye is over. Judgment, the judge, society, whatever, somebody's going to bring this. You know, he's in trouble with the law. That's all there is to it. And what's around it? Judgment. Well, there goes my favorite card. What's around it is judgment. He was hoping he could cut himself off from this and come out a victor. But there's too much stuff that they've got records of. They've got records of too much stuff for that to happen. He's still hoping he can manipulate it, but he's dead in the water. So no, he's not going to get out of this at all. In fact, if I wanted to go right by the cards, I would say he's going to the Hooskow. He's going to jail. And I guess we shouldn't take delight in that. But we could take delight in justice being served. Let's just look at it that way. You know, I hate to keep thinking, you know, getting gleeful when some of this stuff is catching up with some of these horrible people. But at the same time, we could still be happy that justice is being served. And try not to be too happy about it, I guess. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how to be nice about this. I'm going to see if I can read without these cards since I've dropped the knight on the floor and I'm too lazy to get him right now. I don't want to unconnect my mic and everything just to pick that up off the floor. Well, maybe I can get it without kind of disconnecting my mic. Just let me see. Just a minute, I'll be right back. Looks like I still got, need to turn around and see what I got going behind me. It looks like I got a fire going. No wonder my eyes are burning. I don't know. Usually I can't even get a frickin' candle to burn. Well, I don't know what in the hell's feeling that, but it's feeling it. It's got to run out of fuel here in a minute. I can't figure out what's burning unless just all the wax caught fire. I guess I'm going to have to take this mic off after all. I have to drive tomorrow to go to my daughter's house, but it's only about 4 or 5 miles. But I'm glad I don't have to drive anywhere today. I'll tell you, it's just been one of those sitting here talking about why I can't see when I got a fire going behind me, and I could see the flame a little bit. I really couldn't see it. It was just, I kept flashing because I'm looking in the back of the camera. But it's just, I do put a mirror up beside it so I know which way to look, but sitting here talking about my eyes watering. It's amazing the smoke alarm wasn't going off. I don't know what, if a match set the wax afire in there or what, but I took it in the kitchen and it was still in flames, and I poured some water in it and it almost exploded, so it was really hot. I'm amazed. I'm lucky it didn't come up and hit me in the eye the way my day's been going. It's just, I did some prayers. I did some medication. I did some prayers. I did some meditation. I did some things before this started to try to bring in peace and tranquility, and maybe it's just I don't usually have these kind of days. Sometimes they'll start out and then go away, or something weird happens, but not where just one thing after the other happens all day long. So it was really strange. So anyway, I did pick my card up off the floor because I really prefer these cards more than any of the rest of them. So what's Roger Stone's connection to Matt Gaetz and this Greenberg? He looked like he was, and then I guess he's going on that idiot show. Who is that? The one that I don't even think they let him on YouTube anymore because he was so crazy. But I guess he was on his podcast or something saying they were all going to jail. The one that was always screaming and saying there's lizard people and stuff. I can't think of his name. Should just call him the Tucker Carlson of talk radio or whatever. But yeah, he so what's Roger Stone up to? Let's just ask what's going on with Roger Stone. I think I did this maybe my last reading, but let me do it again. See what's going on. What's really going on with Roger Stone? What's he so worried about? Maybe it'll come out in here. What's he so worried about? Is he going back to jail? Well, whatever's going on, it looks like it might be a little while before we find out anything through the law, and it might be coming quick. But we got temperance on the bottom. I don't always look at the bottom, but I just thought, look on the bottom of those cards and see what you got. I'm going to cut them again. Well, his signifier is the Ace of Cups. He's been lucky once. Will he be lucky twice? Will he get out of this twice? Or is this just yes, he's in trouble? Because this is also a yes card. So the signifier for him is yes. So he's in this right up to his teeth. That's what it looks like. That's what I ask. Is he in the middle of this? So it looks like he is. Something to do. Also mixed in, I don't know what it's got to do with trafficking women, but this is Roger Stone. He's in what went on at the Capitol. He's deep into it. That's where his trouble's coming from. That's where his main trouble's coming from. And he got his instructions from the White House. It's the foundation of this reading. I don't know if he was telling Trump what to do or just behind it or what. I mean, you know it wasn't Trump's idea to pull all this crap that he pulled for the last two after he lost. I mean, he knew he was going to, if he lost, he wasn't going to hand anything over, but the whole plan and everything that came up, I think that Roger Stone was right in the middle of it, just like he was right in the middle of that Brooks Brothers riot that got Bush into office. So I guess thought if he could pull another riot, maybe he could get Trump into office or get him to stay there. He'll be lucky if he don't go back to jail, and this was planned. He did help plan it, and this is the stuff at the Capitol. That's what he's going to be in trouble for. He really felt safe when he was doing this because he thought they could pull this off, and that him and Trump were in so tight he didn't have to worry about anything. So that's why he did it. You know, there was a plan to literally keep Trump in there. Even if they had to throw out votes, stop the count, declare martial law, if there had been a lot of killings going on that day or whatever. There was a plan behind that, and Roger Stone was right in the middle of it. And he definitely got paid for it. And that's what's gonna come out, and that's how they're gonna catch him. They're gonna follow the money, and that's how they're gonna catch him. He's wishing he had some place to go, but he's known all over the world. There's no place he can run off to right now. But that's what's going on inside him. He's thinking, where could I go? How could I avoid this? How could I get out of this? I wonder if I could leave the country. All these different things going through his head, how to get out of this problem. He's wanting to walk away from it. He's ready to go. He's ready to physically move, leave the country. He knows they're going to follow the money, and he knows that they know that somewhere along the line he received, paid people off, did something to do with money for the capital stuff, for the Republicans. And for Trump. And it says, yes, that he will be going back to jail. So by looking at these cards, I definitely say that Roger Stone was going back to jail. I asked if he was going to jail. The first card out is the ace. The government's after him because he took orders from the White House. Helped with the plans for January 6th. Thought he wouldn't have to worry about it. Figured Trump would save his butt because he really thought he was going to be able to keep him in office some way. They're going to follow the money, and that's how they're going to catch him, because they're going to have, there's documents on it. He's trying to figure out how to leave town, to walk away from this, because he knows that he's in trouble when they find out who paid who for what. To help keep the Republicans in power, and Trump, and yes, he's going to jail. So I know this sounds silly. Everybody I read on sounds like they're definitely going to jail. But that's what the cards are saying. Let's read on something like that Voting Rights Act. Let's see if it's going to go through. That's the next thing I'm going to read on, and then I'm going to turn everything off and maybe go wash my eyeballs out and come back and do another one. But let's see what's going on with the White House. I mean, not the White House. With the Voting Rights Act. There's one name for it in the House, one name for it in the Senate. Y'all know what it is. Let's see if it's ever going to get passed through Congress, through the House. No matter what it's called, it's the one that they. In fact, I think there's two of them. But the main one is the one that would stop all this horse shit. So let's see, what is it going to go through? The Voting Rights Act. Is it going through? I was going to try to keep this mic down against my skin, and I didn't do it. Voting Rights Act. What's going on with it? Voting Rights Act. What's going on with it? Is it going through? Is it going to get passed? I don't think it's going to get passed unless they get rid of the filibuster, but let's see. See what the cards say. Voting Rights Act. Oh, I want to thank all you guys who've been so generous out there and helped me out, and I just want to thank you for it. And if anybody wants a reading, it's lynntarotreadings@gmail.com. lynntarotreadings@gmail.com. And I've got a lot of openings. Sometimes I'm so busy I can't get back to everybody, and now I think I got my whole schedule cleaned out. So just lynntarotreadings@gmail.com, and I'll get right back with you. Add your phone number in there. It always helps if you want to get in quicker. Put your phone number in there, and I'll text you or give you a call, and we can just set an appointment right up. But either way, lynntarotreadings@gmail.com. And I'm going to be on Sheila's channel, I think on the, and I've got my calendar across the room, but it's going to be next week. I think it might be next Friday, a week from next Friday. I'll have to check on it and see, but that's going to be fun. I think Whimsy's going to be on there too, if I understood it correctly, so that'll be nice, and I'm really looking forward to that. I just love the interaction of talking to the other readers. So, voting rights. Is that bill going through? Put on rings and they won't stay up. Keep moving on my fingers. Voting Rights Act. Is it going to be or not? Don't need to draw any more cards in this. Yes, it's going through. Here's the Earth Mother. The God Force. Yep, it's going to go through. I don't even want to draw anymore on it. It's silly to draw anymore on it. It's going through. So maybe I'll read on something else real quick. I was going to read on a Pence knew about. Somebody asked me, Geraldine, and she's so good. She always writes comments, and I love that. Was going to ask me if Mike Pence knew about that there was going to be a riot at the Capitol. I'm not going to read cards. I'm going to say my opinion is he knew about it. He had no idea how much force and how bloody it was going to get, or he wouldn't have had his family there, I'm sure. But I think he knew about it. He knew it was a plan. And somebody else, and I didn't write their name down, wanted me to read on Amy Barrett, you know, the newest Supreme Court Justice, the lady Amy Comet Barrett, but anyway, on her, and see if she was going to stay in the Supreme Court, because I guess there's some information going around, some gossip already going, maybe some articles in some of the magazines, something that they paid some of her debts off or something too, that there was some kind of money changed hands for her getting on the court. Let's see if, I haven't seen what it is, I've just heard innuendos. Let's see what if it comes out in the cards. Is she going to stay on the court, or is she going? And you know, everybody's going eventually, so that's a hard way to ask that, especially since there's no time to spare it. But let's see. Doesn't have to be within the near future. Within the next couple of years, is she going to stay on the court, or is she going? Amy Comet Barrett. I think it's Comet. I'm going to go wash my eyes out. I think I probably sprayed them full of spray nets. What happened? Oh, Lord. Amy Comet Barrett, are you going to be in the Supreme Court much longer? What's going on with you? Something really shady, really shady, really shady is a signifier. She's got the most shadiest eyes I ever seen in my life anyway. I wouldn't trust her. I usually always trust women just because they're women, but I wouldn't trust her if I knew her for a friend. But that's just my feeling, and I shouldn't say things like that, but there's just something really strange about her when you see, if you watch the hearings and watch the answers she gave. There are some influences and obstacles that's coming in that could get her out of there, definitely. Look at this. There's information definitely coming out. There's something coming out. about her. Something to do with theft. Something's not on the up and up somewhere. Something's not on the up and up. Something was moved, something was paid, bookwork was covered up, something was hidden, maybe it was decisions. I don't know, something didn't come through. When this breaks on her, it's going to move really fast. It's really going to come through fast when it does come through. They're going to try to rebury it. I have the strangest feeling it's going to come out that she was paid off. Not for anything to do with the Supreme Court, but for some other decisions and stuff she made, that there was money that changed, something that made her feel like she could just get away with anything. But I think that's what's coming out. Could be something to do with her husband. He could be involved. Could be something to do with his business. I know from what I understand, I think she said on some court cases that had his business in it or something. I don't know. But it's something to do with her husband. And that's saying yes, it is something to do with her husband. And yes, she did do something wrong, because this is in the 7th house. The environment around that is all the investigations they're doing on everybody else. She's just going to get tied up in them. There's just stuff that's been put on the back burners, and when they get time to get around to all these, this is Biden's card, but this doesn't mean him personally, but when this administration starts going around all this other stuff, it's just going to keep turning up more stuff, and more. It's going to be like digging in a sewer and the worst shit's on the bottom. And that's what's going to keep coming up. Well, my eyes are clearing up a little bit with the door. I can't believe the fire alarm didn't go off with that candle on fire behind me. She's scared to death that she's going to get kicked off the court. So this is something really serious, because this is her card and her fears, and she's terrified that she's going to get kicked off. Something's not right. They used to say something's rotten in Denmark, but I don't know what that was. That's from an old, I think a giant fairy tale or something like that. But anyway, it's not because of Denmark. I don't want anybody to take that wrong. Anyway, yeah, something's not right. Something's not right. And it's to do with some judgment she made about commerce, to do with overseas or something. I'm sure it's probably before she got on the Supreme Court, something she was lying about, something that truths that weren't told. Some involvement with some foreign country. So anyway, that's what's going on with her. It looks like she's got a lot of secrets. She knows she could be in a lot of trouble. She's sorry that she even got on there, and she's kind of blaming herself, although it was Trump kind of got her and shoved her and pushed her on there in a hurry. It made her feel like the Wizard of Oz. But she's worried about some deals that she made before she ever got into the Supreme Court. And yes, these are going to come back and bite her on the ass, because when this administration starts following the money on other things, it's going to come up on her and put her out in the cold. And she's kind of going to be looking for someplace else to move. So I think, yeah, I think the answer would be, yeah, that something's going to come up that might end up kicking her off the court. And that's almost unheard of. I can't, the last 2 times I read on Kavanaugh, it said they were going to kick him off the court too. And that's just something that's not usually done. Once somebody's there, they're there forever. So that would be an amazing thing to find out about the cards. It will be amazing. So anyway, I'm gonna tell everybody thank you and happy Easter, and I hope you spend time with your families. And I bought me some bunny ears to wear, and then I forgot to wear them too. So I don't know. I'm just not popping today like I usually do. Not that I pop at my age, but I'm just seems like I'm dragging. Anyway, God bless y'all, and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye now. Stay.